All right, so we just finished our tasting over at Widow Jane, and our cameraman is a little drunk right now, so things might get a little wobbly. But we want to talk about low light shooting because we just had the opportunity to do some indoor shoots.
In general, I mean, this is a full frame camera, so the low light is by definition going to be very good.
Yeah.
And it is very good. The thing is that it gets a little noisy when it's at high ISO at night.
Like every other camera, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Other than maybe the A7S.
It does, it's a little bit noisier than I would expect from a full frame camera. And it probably has to do with the fact that it is 24.2 frames.
Megapixels.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Megapixels. So they are cramming quite a few megapixels on a full frame sensor.
Yeah, but I mean, that said, if you look at the Nikon D800 or the A7R, that's 36 megapixels. So I think this is kind of the middle point for a full frame sensor. It's not ultra high. And I found that certainly up to 6400, it's really, really usable and really nice. At 12,800, yeah, you can see the noise. Again, in a pinch, you could totally use it. And at 25.6, yeah, you're gonna see the noise, but it's kind of better than not getting the shot, in my opinion.
That being said, the advantage that this camera has is because of the stabilization, you don't necessarily have to bump up the ISO as much as you would otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the stills that I shot at night, I didn't mind the noise at all. I think Jay was seeing a little more noise in his shots, or maybe it's just a difference in, you know, how much noise he's willing to accept. But I didn't mind the noise at high ISOs at all. I felt like it was pretty nice. The one incredible thing is I did some shots in almost pitch black, and I was able to see through the camera what I couldn't see through my eye. That's one of the really nice things. A lot of people talk about electronic viewfinders and talk about it as a negative. I don't know about you. I found it to be 100% positive. In fact, when I went back over to my Nikon DSLR that didn't have an electronic viewfinder, it was really weird for me. I was expecting to see my depth of field live in action. I was expecting to see my exposure and know exactly how my photo was gonna look.
I can't even explain how dumb the location for the video button is. It is exactly where your hand is when you're shooting. So if you want to shoot video and you're holding it in your hand, you have to take your hand off the grip in order to get to a place where you use what's basically a toothpick to press this tiny little button to start shooting video. It doesn't make any sense. And if that was where you needed to start shooting video in photo mode, that would be one thing. This is also the only place that you can shoot video in video mode. Every other camera I've used, if you're in video mode, you press the shutter button, you start shooting video. In this camera, you press the shutter button, it tells you, no, you can't use that, you have to use the movie button. So what you end up with is either a two-handed move, or more likely, you have to put it on a tripod if you want to do any serious video shooting. So, it's dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb.
It is pretty awkward to start. Is it a deal breaker? For me, not really. I mean, I'm sacrificing the first few seconds of my video, and I guess if it's a run and gun type operation, then yeah, that's a big deal. But is it a deal breaker? Would I not buy the camera for it? Probably not. Is it good placement? No, it sucks, it's stupid. But again, I'd probably get around it and get used to it after a while. This is Sam. He's been shooting our video all day, and he's been using a Panasonic GH4. Now, right off the bat, I'm just gonna run some specs. Obviously, it's got a full frame sensor. Really nice. The recording button we've already talked about, kind of awkward. It's got the partially articulating LCD. Well, it's articulating, but not really as much as we'd like. Not as much as your GH4 does. It will shoot S-Log2, which is a very flat picture profile, but that's limited to ISO 1600 or above. So you're definitely gonna need some ND filters if you wanna shoot in any kind of bright scenario.
Well, the first thing that I noticed was that it's not really laid out in, I mean, you already spoke about how the shutter doesn't start the recording, and it just really feels like a camera that designed for stills entirely, that they tacked on the video function just to, you know, because you can.
XAVC is the better codec that the camera will shoot to. And you have to have a certain speed memory card in there. It's kind of weird. You need a 64 gig SDXC card, I believe it is, which we have in there right now. Anything less than that, you shoot in AVC. you can shoot 24 frames a second, which is great, and you could shoot 60 frames a second. There's no 720 at 120 frames a second or any other options like that.
This is a great comparison with the Panasonic GH4 because they're both in pretty much the same price range, $1,700 body around for each. But what you get is one really leaning more to stills, being the Sony, and the Panasonic leaning more to video.
Right.
So it's kind of just like you would choose it based off of your usage, you know?
Right, and I think if you are using it, you know, in a planned way, you can get beautiful video out of this camera.
Definitely.
It's got the stabilization to smooth out those little minor jerks if you're doing hand holding. And, you know, it has a really nice image. It just needs a little bit more on the feature front. You know, you get nice manual focusing with focus peaking, so that's great. You can do the zoom in when you're focusing as well. But again, yeah, it's not there in terms of the XAVC is only 50 megabytes a second.
Yeah.
And your GH4, how high does that go?
200, so.
Right, and the other thing, 4K. I mean, you can't do it here, you can on the GH4.
Yeah.
And it seems like something that really would be a firmware upgrade.